it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Just bring them over. I guess Tuesday. I gotta go. I gotta do a video. Yeah, movie review. Horror show. Yeah, Lance Hendrickson. It's like House 3, sort of. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. Okay. All right. Bye. Hey guys, Hellhound here, and I figured today we would tackle the Horror Show from 1989. Well, yeah, the Horror Show. I don't know where to begin because there's a few things I need to get out of the way first. I don't know where to start. Okay, well, let's start from here. Okay, well, one of the early reviews I did, the first few videos I did were ranking videos. I took a franchise and ranked all the entries from best to worst. I should have done first to best, but whatever. I was new at this type of thing, so whatever. One of those videos I did, I reviewed the movie House from 1986. One of my favorite movies. Kind of underrated, actually. I love this movie. Love that cover. Ding Dong, You're Dead. Yeah, this is the VHS copy. I'm very proud to have that in my collection. And I reviewed that movie, talked about how awesome it was. Go check that out if you haven't already. And I even talked about House 2, the second story, a little bit in the same video. I didn't really feel like this movie needed its own video, so, whatever. But I think I covered it enough in my House review. I mentioned this sequel. Well, after House 1 and 2, there was a movie called The Horror Show, directed by James Isaac, and The Horror Show became known as House 3 outside the U.S., and so when the real House 3 came out, they had to rename it House 4, and I don't own that movie, nor do I have any desire to, because they bring back William Katt's character, Roger Cobb, from the first House, and they kill him off in the most depressing way possible. Now, I don't believe it's the same character. There's plenty of evidence that supports this theory. I think they just had him come back just to get people to see it, and he probably even said, I don't want to be in the movie, so they killed him off. He probably didn't want to be in it a whole lot. Yeah, if you can't afford to get William Katt in your movie, something's wrong. No, he's a great actor. I like him a lot. He's the greatest American hero, after all. But that's what I think happened, and the movie really suffers from it. It's not really a great movie other than that anyway, aside from its few standout scenes like the talking pizza and the bloody shower. But anyway, maybe I'll talk about that more another day. Anyway, we have The Horror Show. Now, this is the movie that was known as House 3, yada yada, but really has nothing to do with the franchise, so I'm not going to talk about it as an entry in the House series. I'm going to talk about it as a standalone film. Yes, The Horror Show. Yeah, as I said, directed by James Isaac, starring Lance Henriksen, and Brian James as the villain, Max Jinky. Meet Cleaver Max. Yeah. Very cool horror villain. I'll get to why here in a second. Now, this is one of those movies that I waited years and years to get a DVD release. Unfortunately, I never did. I got a little bit impatient. But, at least I have the VHS. Finally, it came out on Blu-ray a few years back. Thank you, Scream Factory. Scream Factory just rules. They release so many of my favorite films. And a lot of them even have better artwork than the original VHS artwork, or the poster, which is most impressive. That's just a huge feat that I didn't think could be accomplished. But I still prefer the original artwork for nostalgia reasons. But yeah, The Horror Show. Also known as House 3, but we won't talk about that the whole time. Well, technically, this movie did get a DVD release, because this contains the Blu-ray and the DVD. But, what I meant was, they never got an exclusive release on DVD. But I'm so glad this finally came out. I'm so glad to own it. It's just awesome. I don't have a very big Blu-ray collection. Most of them just consist of movies that never came out on DVD, like Video Dead, and a few others. Ghost House, most of which are double features. But anyway, yeah, The Horror Show. Great movie, very underrated. It seems around this time, like the late 80s, early 90s, executed serial killers coming back for revenge. That theme was like all the rage at the time. I mean, we had Shocker, The Chair, Prison, I think a few others, and they tried to bring that back in 1998 with that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington, but I guess it didn't really take off. It's an okay movie. It wasn't really an executed serial killer. It was a little different. But anyway, whatever. Yeah, but this movie, The Horror Show, is very similar to Shocker. They both kind of tried to create a new Freddy Krueger. Shocker was actually directed by Wes Craven. So he kind of lost, I guess he lost the rights to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and he was trying to cash in on its success by creating another Freddy Krueger, as I said. This movie kind of tries to do the same. And I really enjoyed both villains. Horace Pinker from Shocker is probably the best part of an otherwise kind of mediocre movie with a story that was way too convoluted for its own good. And this movie has a great villain too, Max the Cleaver Jinky, played by Brian James, who just giggles and acts like a total wacko. He's just a homicidal maniac who loves what he does. Him and his trusty meat cleaver have claimed like over 100 victims apparently, and like even he seems to be unstoppable. Like even before he becomes like comes back as a ghost, he seems to be like almost supernatural already because he kills all these cops and like they just can't seem to stop him. So it's pretty cool. I also love him, Lance Henriksen. He plays the hero, Detective Lucas McCarthy. He's the one who arrests Max and sends him to the electric chair after he kills his partner and a few other cops. And I always liked Henriksen. He's in a lot of my favorite movies. Way too many to name. I guess a few would be The Terminator, Aliens, Pumpkinhead. He's always good, especially in a lead role like this. You really feel for him. But anyway, the story, just that, Brian James is Max the Cleaver Jinky, Meat Cleaver Max, the giggling, psychotic, homicidal murderer who just relishes in torturing his victims and, claiming more and more bodies piling up. And it says the police baffled. They can't do anything about it. And by the way, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this is the edited version. They still released an unrated version that has the meat grinder opening. I'd like to see a release of that already, but hey, I can't complain. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm just glad the damn thing finally got a proper release. But yeah, anyway, he's a murderer. Detective Lucas McCarthy, played by Lance Henriksen, captures him. He's sent to the electric chair. He's executed. It's a little more complicated than this, but basically he comes back as a ghost and haunts McCarthy and his family. His wife, played by Rita Taggart, I believe her name is, his daughter Dee Dee Pfeiffer, who is the younger sister of Michelle Pfeiffer, and his son, played by Aaron Eisenberg, who was actually 20 years old when he filmed this. He looked like a teenager, like no older than like 12 or 13, maybe even 14 at the most. But he was actually 20 years old. Yeah, it's kind of a John Franklin playing Isaac in Children of the Corn situation. I guess he had a kidney failure or something that stunted his growth. But yeah, you never know it. I had no idea he was 20 years old. I was kind of shocked to discover that. But he does a great job. And I just love the son. I gotta say, he's awesome. His room is just like, he's like a metalhead. He's got like Guns N' Roses and Kiss posters everywhere. He's jamming to Metallica. He's really cool. And he's always scamming all these companies, saying that he found rat hair or a human thumb in their products, so they send him free stuff all the time. The son's just a blast. He's really cool. And the daughter, she's got her boyfriend coming over, her boyfriend Vinny, who kind of looks like Eric Freeman from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. He's built like him anyway. She's got him sneaking into the house and yada yada. But yeah, Max Jinky, who's played excellently like that by the hilarious Brian James, comes back. He haunts him. He tortures them. He's got like a few various otherworldly powers and abilities. So, kind of like in Shocker, though I think I enjoy this movie a little more. Shocker tended to overcomplicate the story way too much with a lot of unneeded, unnecessary plot devices, which really, it would have been better if they simplified it. And this movie kind of suffers from that too. There's another character, Peter Campbell. He's like a scientist. He explains to Lucas, Detective McCarthy, Lance Henriksen, that Max Jinky was getting all these powers from the electricity, and he took on another plane and all this other stuff, and his only weakness is electricity. As he gets more powerful, it's like, I would have been happy if it was just an executed serial killer who came back as a ghost to get revenge. I mean, that was all I really needed. I mean, they could have just kept it simple, and that would have been enough for me. I didn't need all the other crazy stuff. And Shocker did the same thing, trying to overcomplicate it by giving this elaborate backstory and making the main character his actual biological son, which was a twist, and he was dreaming about the murders. Okay, I'm not going to compare the movie to Shocker during the whole review. I apologize, but they are very similar, so it's hard not to. Maybe I'll give Shocker a review here sometime soon as well. I need to rewatch it first, though. I actually watched this movie recently, so it's still kind of fresh in my mind. But yeah, this movie, as I said, definitely isn't without its faults. Overcomplicating the storyline is one. It has kind of a weird ending, weird climax. It's definitely kind of a ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street, but very enjoyable. I love Lance Henriksen's character, Detective McCarthy. He's a great main character. You really feel his struggle. He's just dealing with just getting over this monster who's just playing his nightmares, and like he's just finally so relieved that he died, but now he came back, and now he's worried about his family. The daughter's boyfriend's body is found in the basement. Max is the one who killed him, but Lucas is kind of framed for it. It's just a huge struggle, and the acting is really believable. He doesn't play it too emotional. Like he is kind of angry, but he doesn't. He's like, oh my gosh, he came back. He's not like that. He's still pretty badass. He's still a pretty cool, tough as nails cop. You really do relate to him in this movie. And as I said, he's kind of a no bullshit type of guy too. So, so he's very compelling, very great protagonist. And what can I say about the villain I have already said? Brian James just owns as Max Jinky. He's just hilarious. His psychotic giggle, his evil laugh, just the way he talks, so cocky, and he makes wisecracks. They definitely want to create another Freddy, as I said. I love the scene where he invades the TV and he's becomes like a stand-up comedian. He's like he says, my psychiatrist said that Max, you're a homicidal maniac. So I asked him for a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly too. And he's making all kinds of jokes. It's hilarious. The other standout scenes, like the part where he possesses a turkey, and the side of the turkey's head has Max Jinky's face. It's like, don't look now, your family's dead. It's just all kinds of weird stuff. And he pretty much possesses the boiler in the basement, so he kind of talks through that. That was pretty cool and kind of creepy. I love the cellar. It's such an eerie setting. I loved all the scenes that took place in their basement. It was just really cool. And most of it does play because in their house. I guess that's how they got away with calling it the third House movie outside of the U.S., even though it really has nothing to do with the series at all. But it's a lot better than the real House 3, which is titled House 4. House 4, The Repossession, with Terry Trias, and William Catt returning only to be killed off, which is a big no-no. So about a 1% chance somebody who worked on the movie on House 4 is watching this video. That is not how you treat one of my favorite protagonists in a movie, okay? So, bad idea. Yeah, maybe make a House 5 and explain that he didn't really die. But as I said, they're not even the same character. I don't even consider it canonical anyway. It's fan fiction as far as I'm concerned. There's really only 2 House movies in my mind, and this is just like a standalone. This is its own movie. I don't consider it part of the series, as I said. But yeah, what else can I say? Definitely check out The Horror Show. Very good movie. Very underrated. Kind of little known. It's not, outside of horror fans, it's not very well known. And even some big time horror fans who are knowledgeable about all the more obscure stuff even don't know about this movie. Weirdly enough. I'd definitely say check it out. Give it a watch. You'll be pleased. I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. As I said, it's not perfect by any means, but I'd still say it. Go so far as to say it's pretty. It's great in its entertainment value alone, and just creating such a great villain. It's unfortunate it couldn't became like a big series with Max Jinky returning each time or something. Unfortunately, Brian James is no longer with us. I think he died sometime in the 90s. So, that sucks. Rest in peace, Brian. He created some memorable characters. Some of my other favorites he did was that Tales from the Crypt episode where he plays the lumberjack and, who has a really hot wife who's flirting with all the guys. That was a good one. He was pretty damn scary in that episode as well, just like he is in here. He plays a great villain. Definitely plays a great antagonist. But he's played some good guys, too, in the past. Definitely look up his filmography. He's a good actor. He's awesome. But yeah, they tried to electrocute Meat Cleaver Max. It didn't work. That's the tagline. Oh, and this is in your home, behind the door, beneath the steps, Max is waiting. Oh yeah. The Horror Show. I love that title. In fact, I loved it so much that when I was in high school, my sophomore year, I formed a band and I named it after the movie. We were called The Horror Show. And that was when I first took the name Hellhound. Believe it or not, I was like 15, going on 16. And, it was me. I was Hellhound. We had Psycho and Carnage and Skull and Lizard, and we all had our stupid stage names, which we kind of dropped that later. And then that band became Dying Immortality. We changed the name, but I still thought The Horror Show was a cool name. I think it was a good name for a band. But yeah, I'm rambling again, like I always do. I apologize. Yeah, check out The Horror Show, and then probably check out Shocker too. They're very similar, both pretty good movies, but with a lot of Shocker especially has a lot of negatives as well. They definitely could have made it better. There's a lot of things I would have changed about that one. But yeah, this is a horror show video. I'm sorry to keep bringing up Shocker. I'm sure it's kind of bumming you out, probably. In fact, most people probably turn this video off by now. So, hey, I keep talking about Shocker, we don't hear about the horror show. But yeah, I think that about does it. Check out The Horror Show. You will not be disappointed. And watch out for Meat Cleaver Max. Alright, well, it's probably something I forgot to say, but oh well. It can't be that important. I guess see you guys next time, which I might be reviewing Shocker. Or maybe not. I'm still looking for the perfect executed serial killer, comes back as a ghost and haunts, the people sent to the chair. Well, there's always the movie, The Chair, which came out the previous year, 1988. But it's a little too silly to be taken seriously. In fact, all the scary scenes in that one end up just being funny instead. But Stephen Jeffries is in it. From Fright Night and 976 Evil. You're so cool, Brewster. He plays a character named Roach. But yeah, anyway. The Horror Show. This has been my latest review. I am Hellhound. Thank you for watching my show. Sorry for all the rambling. It's a bad habit. I need to stop. Keep it horror. Until next time.